All right, so hello everyone. So it looks like, how many do we have so far? We have 22. We had about 40 who were interested and registered. So hopefully our numbers will go up a little bit as people sign on. So this is Claudia Pasmani, Executive Director of the Amherst Area Chamber. Welcome everyone. This is, we felt, a really important series, and Envision Marketing is back. If you weren't here for the first session, it's a great team here from Envision Marketing Group. And they are one of our newer members in the last couple of months. And this is really how to effectively use social media to market your business. We felt that, especially right now with everyone being online during this time, a lot of people working remotely, half our workforce practically, that this was really important. A lot of people were pivoting their sales across their website. And now we're also, that was our first session, how we focus on the website. And this one is, okay, now how do we bring it out to the rest of the world and their social media, right? So we really feel like this is an important tool. So we have Dan Buendo, who's president of Envision Marketing Group. And Dan's been doing this for, what, nearly 30 years. So thank you, Dan. And Christine Foster, who's been doing this, good morning, almost 16 years, who's doing market and sales for them at Envision Marketing Group, and Ali Buendo, who's here with Envision Marketing as their office manager. So they are going to lead us through a really powerful social media webinar, and I believe we're going to do this like we did last time. So the first half is presentation, and then the second half will be questions and answers.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that worked really well last time, but if you want to put your questions in the box, you can also do that so you don't forget what the questions are, and Dan can go back to them. Steve. So I will let you take it away. Thank you for being here, and thank you for offering this to our membership.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us again. I'm going to actually turn it over to Christine first to kind of kick it off for us. Christine.
Thank you. And just again, if you have questions, just, put it right in that Q&A box, and we'll make sure we address all the questions at the end. So really, thinking about bringing your social media to the next level. Everyone is on social media right now. So, now is the time to get on social media. So, I'm sure many of you are on social media, but, we're happy, for those of you that are just getting introduced to social media and really want to dive into, the benefits of it. That's why we're here today. Just another, topic, but define your marketing goals for social media. So we're going to be going through that too. Build your community and also give consumers a reason to follow you. Engaging with your consumers with eye-catching content, and then using social media as a toolbox for your business. So we find, looking at, there's so many different social media platforms out there, there's a new one every day that we find, but really the top 4 that we find that businesses are using, along with Twitter as well, but really for like the local business, is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So, Facebook is used from everything to share photos, important company updates. It's a very powerful advertising tool. It offers analytics. It also offers customization options to highlight your business. So it's a really great way for you to use Facebook, if you're looking to support customer service and even adding on some sales communication tools. Instagram is kind of that visual platform that it's based entirely on photo and video posts. So it offers a chance to showcase products or services through a visual approach. YouTube is a video sharing platform. We're finding that everything is kind of gearing towards video these days. People just, they're engaged in video, but it gives you the option to upload. We find many businesses use this as product placement, showing tutorials, on, certain aspects of your business and products and services, and a lot of the kind of the how-to and Q&A. LinkedIn is more of that B2B social media platform. It's industry-specific topics, also really offers HR departments or business owners a way to find top talent, looking at people's profiles right on LinkedIn, and we'll get a little bit more into this, but it's more or less shows as, kind of their resume. So we can kind of jump to the next slide and we'll get into some more. This is, just a guide. We're definitely going to share this at the end of this, but making sure that you're looking at your business, who your audience is, really what you're looking to do for your business and using these social media platforms, which one is going to be right for your business. So this is just kind of a snapshot of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We have Snapchat, YouTube, Pinterest. I mean, there's so many out there, but again, this kind of walks you through, you know, the audience of each one, how many users, really the industry impact it has, and what is it best used for. So creating a marketing strategy. So really, you know, some businesses out there, you know, they don't have a clear goal in mind when they're putting out content or building out their social media goals. So really defining your social media marketing goals is so important. Creating a marketing strategy and goals for your outreach on social media, all things to consider when you're outputting information and kind of building that strategy. But lead generation for your sales, building brand awareness, identity, for your target customer base, create goals that are measurable and attainable, research the competition, really find inspiration behind the content that you're putting out there, and create a social media calendar. And these are all things that we're going to get into.
Okay. So one of the main reasons people do follow a business on social media oftentimes is for values and rebates and discounts and things like that. So a few things we'll cover today, but one is, you know, building an authentic social media presence, which, you know, basically means communicating with your followers, understand what's going on in your community, and creating a dialogue with the community and with your customers, and responding to their comments, and just being involved like you do and on a networking in-person basis, you know, bring that to your social media presence. But one of the things we want to talk about here is just, again, that offering a value. So as an example here, you know, here's Dunkin' Donuts, you know, where they make Mondays your cooler with a $2 iced coffee, you know, and so, you know, you don't always have to give something away, but you might want to consider it. So it's one of those things, kind of getting into our next slide here, of contests and sweepstakes and polls. You know, it's is there an expense to giving something away? Of course, but it's an inexpensive marketing tool. So this was a client that was giving away some pizzas on their own, and what they were doing was just, you know, they did a post and said, you know, hey, like our picture, and we'll pick somebody for a free large pizza. And so we brought a couple things to the table with that. You know, our main suggestion, which was a subtle difference but makes a huge difference, was to not just have them like it, but to have them share it. And so by sharing, you know, your customers are doing the marketing for you. And so in this case, I don't know how well you can see that, but this particular promotion got 382 shares off of a $25 gift card. So that's a very inexpensive way to market your business. And in this case, you know, the other point, I guess, here is that we'll talk about more is just bringing some graphic design and making this pop. So they were halfway there on their own, just, hey, let's do a giveaway. They were getting pretty good traction. But, you know, let's bring some graphic design to it. Let's get them to share it so that you're really expanding your audience outside of your normal base. So next, community. So we talked about, you know, communicating with your community, understanding what's going on. Obviously, there's this thing called COVID-19 going on, in case you haven't heard about it yet. So this was another client, and they came up with, and this is another topic we'll talk about, which is hashtags. But they had this great idea going, hashtag pizza over panic. So this was their own thing. They were, you know, again, getting some good traction with this. And a few of the things that we brought to it was just, again, some design. So bringing that into a seal, into a logo, and really making it pop, and just bringing it kind of to the next level. But, you know, the main point being that on their own, just, you know, allowing people to purchase pizzas and donate it to, you know, local frontline workers was a great idea on their own part. We just kind of helped them make it look a little nicer and make it pop a little bit more. Good.
So, you know, and kind of talking, you know, a little bit of what Dan's saying, but really engaging with your audience is so important. So consider social media engagement, which offers social proof of your business and creates an authentic connection. You know, we've used a few examples. Starbucks, you know, as a customer wasn't happy with a gift card that was supposed to be sent in the mail, you know, Starbucks rectifies that, responds, you know, they're listening, they're engaged, they're there for the customer service and using that as a tool. We used a local right in Hadley, the Hampshire Meadow Family and Pediatric Dentistry. Obviously, with many businesses, everything's changing between, you know, if they're open to business hours. So, you know, a lot of people are using Facebook, you know, in business as a platform to communicate, you know, certain changes. So they used their Facebook business page to communicate on hours and just, you know, what the changes are, you know, with everything going on with COVID-19. And as you can see, you know, they're engaging with their clientele, you know, with their audience. So again, it's just showing that you're present and being responsive. Really kind of what I like to say is, you know, when someone visits your page, your business page, and they see that you're popular, and they see that there's happy customers on your site. So, you know, it more inepts them to say, hey, you know what, maybe I want to be a happy customer too. And, you know, it gives that position of them more likely to use your products or services. So really it's just, you know, you can put content out there, but, you know, it is important to stay engaged and you know, make sure that you're keeping that connection. So types of content we're going to kind of go over, but, you know, Instagram and Facebook stories, contests, sweepstakes, and polls, which we kind of got into, video content, user-generated content, and then visually appealing content. You know, here's an example of just Posto, you know, something that a client of ours that we did for them, but really it's just putting something out there, you know, really what can we do for you? So here's an example of Posto. Obviously for them, business has changed. So they're offering takeout, curbside pickup, local delivery, again, but staying engaged. You know, they had 40 shares, 106 likes. You know, they're really offering their customers, you know, here we are, we're still in business, we're here for you. So, you know, using something visual that stands out, but content that's engaging. So investing in eye-catching content. Dan highlighted this a little bit, but think visual design and branding. So, you know, we have the example of pizza over panic, but making it pop, making someone stop and say, hey, you know, what is this all about? And then, you know, as an example, we have Springfield JCC, you know, just, you know, those images, you know, the content, making it stand out for your brand, for your business, and taking the time to invest, you know, in that eye-catching content. We're going to dive into video, which some of you, if you were on our last webinar, we dived into this. But again, as I mentioned earlier, video is huge right now. So really, you know, majority of people that are going to be looking at video content, they're stopping, they're looking, and they're listening. So really integrating video into your social media. There's many ways you can use it. If you want to do a social media teaser, we're going to get into some examples of that, but also behind the scenes, what's going on, meet the team. So, you know, product also being able to feature new products or something new that's coming to your business. So just, you know, just ideas in which how you can use video in social media. Here are some examples.
Okay, so as Christine mentioned, some of you may have seen this video, and I'll just show a 30-second clip of it, but this is something we did for Wilbraham Animal Hospital. This one has a little bit more production to it, interviews, music, you know, a little bit more fully produced sort of shot. So we'll just show you this real quick.
I'm Andrew Hertzman. I'm a veterinarian here. I'm one of 6 and part owner of the Wilbraham Animal Hospital. I think I have the best job I could ever imagine. Every day I'm excited to go to work.
We, I think, do everything on the gambit from a simple nail trim or ear cleaning for animals to an ultrasound guided cystocentesis, radiology. We do all different surgeries, procedures here.
And I think it's where our staff is really what sets us apart from other places.
Everybody wants to feel cared about, and as soon as you get that, you can buy a service anywhere. But I think what keeps people coming back to us is that connection that we try to build.
It's what our clients love. They love to see the same faces. Yeah.
Okay, so that's obviously some production involved and interviews and maybe a little bit more than somebody could do on their own. But if you can see the engagement and the views on this, so this got over 3,500 views. It's not a big place. It's, a local, animal hospital. So just the power of video with social media. What I also wanted to show, though, were some things that perhaps you could do on your own. So one is just bringing video into the background of your, instead of having a cover image, a flat image, you can have video in there. No music, or any interview or anything. It's just showing background footage, which just brings your page to life. And so you can have a short clip there. It's pretty easy to upload. A lot of people don't take advantage of that. They just have a flat image there instead of video. So those are a couple of quick examples. These next examples are, again, not interview style. They're just music. And again, engagement on these, this one here had over 1,000 views. This is from about a year ago here. This shows a little bit of this one. Guess it's 10:15 in the morning. We probably should have done Bloody Marys instead of martinis, but you get the idea. We're going to stay on the drinking in the morning theme here. This is another one that we did, again, with Posto. This was a Halloween post. This one got over 2,000 views, if you can see down here, it's small in the corner here. And again, just music to it, no talking or anything. Just instead of putting up a picture, put up a little video. Okay, I have no idea what that drink is, but I'm now thirsty. So, but again, just having some fun with it. Obviously we're showing a lot of food stuff, but you can do any sort of behind the scenes, meet your team. Obviously if you're in a professional practice, you've got to have a different approach, but you get the idea. All right, photography.
So, I think, with anyone that uses social media frequently, power of photography is so big. I mean, majority of people I know, if there's a big image that stands out, that's appealing, they're going to stop. So consider that for your own business, make your brand stand out. So this, as you see some of the photos we have here, there's, appealing food, which, makes you, if it's a restaurant, makes you want to go in there, do business with them. This is Atkins Farm Country Market, again, just showing produce, showing product that's within the store, visually catching photography, which, it goes a long way in social media. It makes people engage, it makes people want to stop and check out what the post is about. The other thing I really want to point out, for, specific to say home improvement category, if you finished a job or a job's in process, a landscape company, if you just finished a mulching job or, landscape design, those are all also, just food for thought, no pun intended, but, just thinking about just ways in which you can, bring that to your social media. So not everyone can afford, professional photography, but, Allie said it best. She said the power of an iPhone, the power of, smartphones, use your phones, have your team out there and taking photos for you, and getting it on your social media pages.
Yeah, I mean, on that same line, like this photo here with the flag, that was taken with a cell phone. It's just having a little eye for it. That's a flag that's on the wall of my office. Put it on a slant. Just think about staging the shot a little bit. It doesn't have to be a $3,000 camera every time.
So, I think I've seen businesses use stories. I've seen, people a little bit afraid of what, stories can do for Facebook and Instagram. But just thinking about, and we're going to show you some examples, but just thinking about the benefits, and it's considered short duration content just because after 24 hours, it disappears. So it doesn't stay on social media. A way to just to think it can increase your brand awareness. It's constant engagement with your followers. It's cost effective. There's free editing tools that are available to you. It drives traffic to your website, if you're looking to do a promotion for services or a certain product. And it also offers an opportunity to reach younger audiences. Just from my own personal use of social media, I'm 37. I don't mind saying my age. I've got 2 young kids. I go in there on Instagram, I'm looking at all the stories. I go on Facebook, I'm looking at all the stories. Instagram is more widely used for stories. I know there's Snapchat out there, but really I see businesses using Instagram more so than Facebook. But, I think Facebook is, coming along. But here's some examples of just local businesses that are doing it right. So this is Orange Theory Hadley. And who has a special place in my heart. So for them, they do stories, just announcements. This is
Sorry, it's jumping around.
That's okay.
The guy using the clicker is jumping around on you here. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is another client, Batch Ice Cream. They do stories. They're a local manufacturer of ice cream. So we'll show you this example, but they do one every day, and I don't even know how they come up with all this content, but it's from where they're going to be on location to serve the ice cream to Happy Mother's Day, and just ways in which you can kind of engage with your audience, just on a daily basis, or a couple times a week. It just kind of brings more to the content that you're putting out there. So, just kind of a little snapshot of really how you can use stories efficiently.
So another type of content out there is user-generated content. So this consists of any form of content that's created by users or consumers or anyone about a brand or product. So it's not paid for, and its authenticity essentially makes the user or consumer who's ever posting an advertiser of your brand as well. So when it comes time to make a purchasing decision, as a consumer, are you more likely to trust? A brand that maybe you don't know as much about yet, or a fellow consumer who uses the product? So as a consumer, we're more likely to take recommendations from friends and family members than brands when it comes time to making this buying decision. And that's essentially the logic behind this user-generated content on social media. So leveraging this type of content, it's not going to only provide a high level of authenticity and trust for your brand. It's also going to save you time creating content in the end, because the content's already created by your community. So for a couple examples here, we have this Wayfair example, or we can start with this one.
All right.
Well, Wayfair, they a lot of times use the hashtag Wayfair at home. So Wayfair frequently uses this hashtag and encourages their users when they're posting a photo that maybe there's a Wayfair product or a Wayfair rug or whatever it is in their photo. They'll use that hashtag, and Wayfair will be able to source these images, go through, and actually repost consumers' product to their page. So it just provides that level of trust, shows an actual consumer using their products, and they're able to share it to their page as well. So a couple other examples we have here, it's just users who were either at this shopping center or sending in their photos. They'll tag the brand in their photo and they'll repost it. Again, just shows that level of human connection with a brand. So how do you motivate your audience to create this type of content? It's typically pretty easy. You'll either ask your customers to tag your business for a chance to be featured on your page, or you could run a relevant marketing campaign or a contest asking people to submit this top content and share it on your page. So moving into another type of, not necessarily content, but hashtags feed into the type of content we use. So when you use a hashtag, you're essentially taking part in a larger conversation that's happening on social media. So it makes your post visible in this conversation and essentially just leads to greater engagement. So a little bit of hashtag 101, they always start with that pound sign. So if you put any spaces or anything in there, that's going to end the hashtag. But it's an opportunity to build your brand, build that engagement, and you're also able to target a specific audience or geographical footprint with these. So that example, hashtag AmherstMA, that's pulled from Instagram, but you'll see that alone just has over 21,000 recent posts. So if you're using that hashtag, you'll show up in that feed, and anyone searching through that hashtag will be able to see your post. And that's if your profile is a public profile. So it also adds context to a post. So with this Atkins Farms post, you'll see it adds a little more context to what they're talking about. It just adds a little more information. It allows you to be found. You always just want to use relevant and specific hashtags to what you're talking about and limit the number that you use.
Talking about these Atkins and all, Allie, or no?
Yep, just mention those. So really they're just putting a little more context. They're mentioning the type of flowers, they're mentioning the location where they're located. So it really just adds a little more without expanding your caption and making it longer.
All right. Oh.
So then going into a little more about just the optimal usage of hashtags on Instagram, that's probably going to be the most hashtags you're ever going to want to use. Right now, we'd probably recommend about 5 to 10 hashtags. And typically hashtags there are used at the end of a caption or right in the first comment. So when you are posting captions or hashtags to that first comment on Instagram, it's not taking away from your caption at all. So if you're only going to put 1 or 2 hashtags, go ahead, put it in the caption. But if you're going to use a bit more, would recommend putting it right in that first post. And they can be used in stories as well, and your story will be pulled into that feed of hashtags as well. On Twitter, probably only going to want to use 1 or 2 hashtags, and it could be used anywhere in the tweet, whether you're working it right into the sentence as a word or putting them right at the end. And again, with Facebook, about 1 to 2 hashtags is plenty. You can use it anywhere in that post.
Again, I just want to remind people to feel free to put any questions you have in the that Q&A tool there. Be happy to address those in a minute.
So I'm actually going to put the Amherst Area Chamber of Commerce on the spot. So we love the way that you've set up your Facebook, your interaction with your audience. And we actually wanted to use that as an example. So we're going to be talking about the Facebook capability. So really using Facebook as a tool and all of the things that Facebook offers for your business. So I'm going to just kind of jump right into it, but some of the things we're talking about is action buttons, events, and offers, and then obviously Messenger. So Claudia, am I going to be able to request to have you unmuted for a minute?
Yep, she can talk, or I can unmute John if we need to.
So, you know, I see that you use Facebook, and I just see, you know, all of the members, all of the community so engaged. And I guess for me, I would love to just kind of hear just a quick blurb of, you know, really how you use your Facebook. I see you use stories, and just kind of how you use it as a tool for your everyday. You know, quick little 30-second, but really, I just think you guys do such a great job, and I think it can connect well to the audience we have here today.
I think we have found that we have a large audience here on Facebook, and the more we engage, you know, the more we put out content, the more we seem to engage with folks. So, and we do hear feedback when folks want to join the chamber, that they have seen us, they've seen the level of activity. With John, our membership and marketing manager, we've added, you know, in the past 2 years since I've been involved, we just really upped our game. You know, we really maximized what's on there. I think we did have a rotating or a live cover photo at one point, but I know John kind of takes different opportunities depending on what we're doing to make that happen. And also adding, I don't know if we've been doing a lot of stories. Have we been doing more stories? John is in charge, so I should have had him comment.
I can put him on the spot and unmute him as well.
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
like.
please do.
Okay, let's see. Now I put myself on the spot, and I got to figure out how to do it.
I'm always pushing for more content, so John will always push back a little, that balance of not too much. But I just love to see this page as active and vibrant as possible. But is John?
I think there you go, John.
We have been adding more to the story lately, especially as people are at home. Some challenges, as Claudia just mentioned, is we represent 350 plus members and we're growing. So we try to balance that quality versus quantity. Mm-hmm. So we post a lot and we're trying to figure out that balance. And yeah, we see that people respond to people. So we try to, when we have events, we try to make sure there's pictures of people, or if we have a speaker like today or a workshop, we try to present people, because people respond to faces and human interaction, especially now in this kind of isolated environment.
I love that. I love that. Well, I think, I just wanted to kind of hear from you guys. I think you've done a great job, and I wanted to, compliment you on that. But I think it also offers some information and a tool locally to the businesses out there. And if people ever have questions, they can always ask you, what you've done. And I think, looking at everything that Facebook can offer, from Messenger, using that as a customer service, sales communication tool, to offers, putting it right out there, and putting it right on your business page. To the action buttons. If your business, you want someone to call you right now or learn more, you can change that action button to pertain to your business. And then obviously using events, depending on what type of event you would be offering. But, all things that Facebook offers right at your fingertips. So wanted to get just a little bit into LinkedIn. I think, for some people, it's new to them. Some businesses thrive on it. So really, we just wanted to have one slide dedicated to LinkedIn and 5 reasons to use it. As I mentioned, LinkedIn is really kind of that business to business social media platform. It helps you build your professional network personally, increases exposure with a LinkedIn company page for products and services. For HR, business owners, or anyone that would be looking to attract talent for hiring, it's a great tool for that. It increases credibility and attracts new business. It also helps you, again, knowing your competition and research. That's very important. Kind of knowing what people are doing in your industry. And then it also offers groups, so industry groups, knowing kind of what the top business trends are within your industry, what others are doing. So it's just, subject to conversation again. I use LinkedIn, to connect locally and seeing what others are doing out there. So again, it's a really good business tool. Happy if you have any more questions about LinkedIn, we can jump into it at the end.
Okay, so creating a content calendar is what we want to talk about next. And what we're showing here is really more of a marketing calendar. So this one's, got a lot going on. Yours could be much simpler than this. At a minimum, it's looking at, your upcoming season, sitting down with a cup of coffee and just taking a minute to plot out the next few months or the next 6 months, or the upcoming season, and really thinking ahead of, all right, what are the topics I want to cover? What are some products or services I want to mention? Who are some people that within the community or within my customer base that I want to try to tap into to expand my audience and maybe work with somebody else? In this case, with the sample that we're showing here, it's not just social media, it's really tying in their blog, their email blast, their website, their ads, their direct mail, their community events, and just really putting it all in one place. And again, this one, they got a lot going on. Yours might be much simpler, but if it just simply helps you, instead of dealing with, what would normally be graduation season right now, and you're a caterer and you're figuring that out 2 weeks ahead of time, you can work yourself backwards and say, okay, coming into this season, I want to do a different promotion, or just, you know, being able to work ahead of schedule. And you could do a very simple spreadsheet with just the months of the year and maybe the products that you want to, or services that you want to identify. But you can really take it a step further and plot in your other marketing activities and make sure that, okay, I'm doing, and I'm going to take the time to write a blog. I'm going to send it out in an email blast. I'm going to post it on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And then I'm going to make sure it's on my website. And then I'm going to do a direct mail piece that ties into that same thing. And that's really where, you know, we spend our time is with clients, is really trying to pull it all together for them and organize it.
So, you know, you can get granular looking at the metrics and analytics, but, you know, we definitely just wanted to, you know, briefly discuss this with social media. It does offer metrics and analytics. So you're able to actually measure the content you're putting out there, activity you're putting out there, the engagement, you know, the conversion, the influence and the reach. So just kind of some things I wanted to highlight. Also the share of voice, you know, kind of how you stand out there with your competition. Where are you in part of conversation on social media? So this is just a snapshot of a business page that walks through, you know, the entire, you know, metrics and analytics, you know, the content that they're putting out there through their page. But again, we're more than happy to kind of jump into analytics and metrics. We did want to mention it. But again, as I said, there's a lot of information, but we wanted to just quickly highlight it.
Okay, another quick topic is, you know, advertising. And, you know, all of this social media stuff is great and you can do all this great content, but the reality is if your fan base is, you know, you have 12 people who like your Facebook page and you're related to 8 of them, you know, you might have to reach out to a wider audience and you may need to pay to reach out to that wider audience. And so the good news with these platforms is they know everything about us, what we like, how old we are, where we live, you know, everything. And so from a marketing tool, it's great opportunity. And so you can really zero in geographically by age, you know, in the whole 9 yards. And, you know, with this New England Lawn example that I'm showing here, this is actually a postcard that went out into the community. And at the same point, here's a Facebook page that, you know, Facebook ad campaign that's all tied in, and then it ties into a landing page. And so again, just bringing it all together in one spot. And just, you know, a lot of times we see clients that think that they're just gonna not spend any money in advertising or marketing and just, I'm gonna open a Facebook page and I'm gonna be, you know, raking in the dough. And it doesn't always work that way. You really do have to look at, okay, do I have a budget to kind of take things to the next level?
So I just want to highlight, this is our last slide. We will be jumping into questions after after we kind of walk through just the social media tools. But you know, again, thinking about not just, you know, social media in itself, but there are tools. We have clients that use multiple platforms, Instagram, YouTube, you know, Google, LinkedIn. So all of these things, there are tools for scheduling posts and actually pulling all those analytics together. As examples, Lumi, Hootsuite, Sprout Social, there's more out there. I've used Hootsuite. So just knowing, you know, if you're kind of just, you know, wanting to get a little bit more information, seeing how you can kind of schedule out those posts and kind of keep it all in one area, there are tools that offer that. On the creative end, you know, we know everyone can't afford graphic design. There is a great tool out there. It's called Canva, and it offers graphic design services, and it's a platform that allows users to create social media graphics and other graphics as well. So that I would definitely highly recommend if, you know, you're just looking to kind of, you know, offer something a little bit more creative, visual. Definitely recommend for you to look into Canva. So I think we're going to open it up for questions now.
Can I just share that we do use Hootsuite and we do use, and Canva, we max out on Canva.
Okay.
It has been a tremendous tool. We had to rebuild. We didn't have a huge budget, and Canva has definitely been a go-to to kind of recreate our brand.
Oh,
really
great.
helped.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to open it up for the first question from Tina. And she says, there's an unofficial Facebook page for our practice that I cannot seem to claim or get shut down. What is the best way for us to create a new page that will get out in front of this unofficial one?
Well, I mean, that's that's a challenge that happens a lot. We've had some success in getting those taken down, but oftentimes you're not able to do it. And so the best way is really to just focus on building your audience and growing past it. And eventually it will kind of just get pushed down. And so just really some of the social media, basics of growing your audience and making sure your website is linked to the new page. One thing that we didn't cover here is that your Google business listing, you can actually do posts off of that as well. And so that's a way to just do a post linking to your correct Facebook page and that kind of thing.
Dan, getting back to her question, do you recommend report? I think there's an option to report because we literally have the exact same issue. We have an old page that people go to from time to time. But like you said, we focused on this new one. But do you go as far as to recommending that people report it? Have you done that for clients?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, you definitely want to do everything you can within the Facebook area to take that down.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. For those who don't even have a Facebook page yet, mine is under construction. Can you address best ways to attract and build follower base?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no more. For those who don't even have a Facebook page yet, mine is under construction. Can you address best ways to attract and build follower base?
Yeah, so, we're talking a lot about within the social media area here, but I think you also have to look at offline marketing. So we've done things like for clients where we've designed, I call it a Facebook card, but it's just literally a card that has your Facebook address on it, have it at your front counter if you're that type of business where people can pick that up. But really, some of the stuff we talked about, communicating to the audience, commenting on other things that are going on in the community, having an event, a lot of it comes down to marketing 101 and how much traffic are you getting to your website and building traffic to your site so that they then like your page. And I guess the bottom line of it is focus on marketing your business and the social media will follow. You want your phone to ring, you want to get appointments, you want to make sales. Don't worry if you got how big your Facebook audience is. If your web traffic and your business is growing, the Facebook and social media will grow with it.
Would you say quality of the video makes difference in how much it gets shared? Our videos don't usually get so much traffic.
I mean, we as a video marketing company, yeah, I like to think that it makes a difference. But you also see, stuff that's very grassroots that gets awesome, numbers, engagement as well. I think it's the topic. I think it's the people. I think it's the timing. But certainly the execution can make a difference.
And do you think tagging really helps? I feel like that helped us a lot, especially, it continues to build our audience as we find as a business page. It's always tricky sometimes, but I think I have to like their page to share. It's been tricky as a business page, but I think I have to like someone's page, but then tag them and
right.
I have content. I have found that to be very effective in building our audience.
Yeah, Allie, I don't know, or Christine, if you guys want to comment on tagging or any of that stuff a little more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps bring in another audience that you might have not reached before if you're not tagging. So I'd say it definitely helps. I mean, you don't want to go tag crazy either. You want to tag relevant accounts that make sense,
right?
Or who you're talking about, but for sure, it definitely helps.
Awesome. All of the images and videos are great. What about businesses that are non-visually stimulating kinds of services, professional services, database management, HR, you get the picture.
Gotcha. Yeah, you know, it was occurring to me that, you know, we got a bunch of food and pizza and drink examples here. We do have, you know, examples of professional services, doctors, lawyers, you know, certainly from a video standpoint. You know, I won't necessarily get into showing these right now, but just to kind of cue it up. You know, this is a law firm that we work with down in the Hartford area. You know, this is a video that we did for them. We're now working on this is kind of like a corporate overview sort of video, but the spin-off of that is individual topics of, you know, different areas of practice that they do. And they go, you know, we create the video, then it goes right on the web page for that particular service, and then it's immediately a social media post. So you're using that content in several places, but it doesn't have to be all martinis and pizzas. You know, same with the New England Endovascular was one of the doctors that we showed earlier. We did the same thing. We've got, you know, an overview video. That video is, you know, feeding in the background of the website. But then there's, so this is like an overview video here. And then within their different conditions, we actually took sort of a, almost like a frequently asked questions sort of approach to some of the videos that we're doing for him, where if you're going to go in for a procedure, you can actually watch that ahead of time and kind of know what you're in for and that kind of thing. So it's almost like a little informational thing more so than a marketing thing. But again, that then becomes social media content to use.
Yeah, and I think also for like that type of business, I mean, honestly, with any business, you want to feed content that your customers want to know. So, you know, questions they might ask, or, you know, if they're a new customer, you know, really what are they looking for? Again, you can feed that all within video in certain ways, you know, and as we talked about, like YouTube, you know, the Q&As, that type of thing. So, you know, just really listening to your customers, what information they want to hear, and outputting that, and just, you know, being strategic and creative with it. The next question is, and I think about this too, Twitter how good is Twitter as a marketing platform for businesses?
Yeah, Christine, you may want to answer that one more. So
Yeah.
the one, I think my quick comment on it is the numbers are, there's a lot of users. I'm trying to get back to that original slide we had up front. And I think that if you're into Twitter, you're really into it. And then I think other people are like, they just totally ignore it completely. It's kind of all or nothing.
Yeah.
And I think it depends on the business as well. If you have frequent updates or frequent information that you want to push out there that your consumers want to see, I think it makes sense. You don't want to be posting 10 Facebook updates a day, but with Twitter, you can post a few more tweets in the same day.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So this one is, I'm going to read this. I was recently told by a class full of college students that they use and get most of their advertising from Snapchat. This is a platform that I used a little when it came out and then totally forgot about it. How valuable do you think Snapchat is? Have you gotten feedback from any clients about this? Obviously, it's a very limited customer base age-wise, but thoughts? I can take that one. I mean, I think Snapchat is definitely targeting a younger audience. You know, we kind of are pointing it out right here on this chart. But again, you know, I know Amherst, you know, some of the businesses in Hadley, their client base is going to be the college students. So, you know, who is your client base? Who are you trying to reach? What impact are you trying to make? I think Snapchat can be a valuable tool. It's just you want to use it efficiently. Again, Instagram, you know, kind of going through, you know, the younger audiences and what they're using. But, you know, I think, you know, Snapchat is valuable, you know, and you just want to use it efficiently to, you know, connect with that type of audience and make sure that it's, you know, keeping your business engaged. And the next question is, this may be a silly question, but when we create a new page, do we create an account under the practice name, or does it have to be under an individual?
So it has to start as an individual. So, and this is a common question actually, but nobody sees that. So if you're using your personal Facebook page, now you're going to create a business page for your practice, but no one has to know who opened it, or, you know, people are worried that all of a sudden they're going to see your personal high school yearbook pictures or whatever. That's not the case.
All right, so I think this might be the last question.
And there's a couple of chat messages. We got a question.
Okay, we have a Twitter account that was started by a previous employee that I can't access. How do I make myself the admin, or should I just start a new one?
The quick answer, and especially if there's not a ton of followers on it, you know, it might just be easier to start a new one, to be honest with you. There are channels to try to get access to it. But, you know, if there's only a few fans on it, I would just, sometimes it's just easier to start fresh.
Okay, how do you balance authentic content that is relevant to users but doesn't appear like sales all the time?
You guys want to tackle that, anybody, or you want me to? I mean, go ahead, Christine.
No, I think, it's definitely, it's that connection, the human connection. I mean, putting relevant content out there, think about your community. It doesn't always have to be about your business. It can be relevant information that speaks to the audience, other local businesses in the area, other happenings going on. Being a part of the conversation. I think, information, not only, a sales mentality, but, there's holidays throughout the year, being engaged, saying Happy Mother's Day, Happy Memorial Day. Sometimes it's just, hey, if you have a dog in, your store and you're taking a picture of him having a great day, sitting out on the sidewalk and drinking some water and just, just keeping that engagement where people are going to, look at your content, look at your posts. It's going to make them stop, like it, share it. That's kind of my take. I don't know, Allie, if you have any other additional comments.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything you're saying. And I think it's also, too, just taking a look at your posts in general. What are people resonating with? What are people not resonating with? And just really taking a step back, and you maybe don't have to dive into all the analytics of everything, but just seeing really what people engage with and what they're responding to is helpful.
Yeah, we had one of the restaurants here in East Long Meadow that was, I saw him commenting on one of the other restaurants and like congratulating them on something, and so he was literally talking about a competitor, but it was a good community conversation going on, and I just think it shows, that's the kind of place I want to do business with, that is willing to congratulate, a competitor on something going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have some right here in the chat, so I want to address those as well. If you invite someone to like your business page and they don't, is it okay to ask them again after a period of time?
You don't want to overdo it, but yeah, I think, if it's a few months later, you can certainly, or a few weeks later, it doesn't hurt to ask again. Things get lost in the shuffle, so I wouldn't be afraid to try it again. You just don't want to overdo it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes even like, it goes back to that content or engagement, but offering kind of the contest, the polls, the sweepstakes, keeping your posts engaged. So possibly you're offering something if they like and share your page. So again, it's just, keeping your posts relevant, but also that engagement factor of, hey, get a, complimentary $25 gift card on us, like and share. So again, it's just being creative with it, some of the examples that we gave. So the next question I have is, I was an administrator of our organization's Facebook page, but Facebook has demoted me to the editor, which means that when I move on, I won't be able to create another editor. Only an administrator can do that. I've written to FB and gotten form replies. Is there another way to reach them?
I mean, typically it's the administrator that would need to downgrade you to editor. I haven't seen Facebook do that. Like, usually it's whoever's managing whoever's the main admin on the page. So I don't know if they could bump you back up.
Yeah, there always has to be a main admin of a page. Who's ever, I guess it goes back to who's ever Facebook account, personal Facebook account is connected to that.
Right.
Business page will always have admin access. So you should be able to go to them and they should be able to help you.
Yeah. And I think that was, I have one more question just popped up. I'm going to answer that. Just to follow up, I appreciate your initial answer, but have you had any clients advertise on Snapchat and did they find it useful?
I don't have any clients that we've worked or advertised on Snapchat. On Snapchat personally, so I can't really, I think if your audience, it obviously skews younger. If that's your audience, I would definitely look into that. Most of our audience does tend to, our client target is usually older, so we have not used it.
For those folks that are asking about, student engagement, you certainly can target across Facebook and especially Instagram, right? Aren't there options to target those groups? Because I've seen some people set up Instagram and immediately access student groups, and get quick exposure. So I'm just wondering, I think that's absolutely in the realm.
Yep. So Instagram, Facebook, you can run campaigns actually together through both of them, depending, if you want to target just Instagram or Facebook, but yes, you can for both of them. Go ahead.
Yeah. On Mary's question, she's saying that, that she was the admin and it was Facebook that bumped her down, not another admin. That's the first I've heard of that. That's really, I don't understand why they would do that. So I apologize. I can't offer much of a solution on that one.
I don't remember. Is there a phone number? I can't remember if there's a phone number for Facebook.
When we've had to communicate with them, it's through chat. So if you do run ads, that might give you an opportunity to work your way up through the ad kind of chat level and see if you can get a little traction that way. But unfortunately, or fortunately for us, I have not run into that with a client, so I apologize. I can't offer much.
Yeah, I mean, I know they have like a help desk. Again, yeah, I mean, that might be a Facebook thing, or having the admin from your account. I mean, if there's not an admin, that's me. I think I'd have to look more on the back end of it, but again, yeah, that's not something. I'm sorry that happened to you.
All right.
Well, I had someone interested in working with you throughout this.
Oh,
so how does someone get in touch with Envision Marketing Group if they want to work with you or take advantage of some of the amazing capacity you have?
We have a slide here somewhere. Okay, here's that slide. Thank you. I would say to reach out to Christine or myself. If you can see our emails here.
Great.
We do offer, a free just discussion with you. If you want to shoot us your web address or whatever, we can look your site over and we can hop on a Zoom or a call and just give you some feedback on our thoughts, at completely no charge. And then we are offering a kind of a discounted block of time if there's some work out of that you wanted us to help you out with. We're offering a discounted thing there. And yeah, we really appreciate, and hopefully that was helpful for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be providing these slides and this recording to Claudia and John so they can put it up on social media and all that good stuff.
Yep.
Anything else? Any other questions or?
I think you mentioned in the last one on website content, one of the things, we had some service people, folks who represented businesses who do services, and I thought that you did a great job of talking about testimonials too, because I think that's a great way to build content, and people can say either thank you or, it's just a great way to get, again, faces and names, and people love referrals, right?
Yep. Reviews.
And reviews,
reviews.
right.
Google offers reviews. So I always recommend to anyone, I've recommended to clients putting it in your email signature, you know,
Mhm.
offer me a review,
Off-
or, you know, after you're done with a job, or, you know,
Yep.
working with someone. I think it just, you know, offers just for you to, you know, when people go and look at your business as a new customer or prospect, they see great reviews. That's huge. People are going to do their research.
Well, I think what you highlighted here today is it's not just social media. It's in the context of a greater marketing, you know, content across all spectrums. So we started with web, and then it feeds into social media, and it's a back and forth always, you know, keeping them both updated. One of the things I've learned with this recent pandemic is that a lot of people let go of their websites because we kind of moved on to the social media platforms. So I'm really happy that we went and we started with web and then moved on to social media, but they're not great just alone. It has to be sort of in unison with a larger context of how are you marketing, how are you reaching your greater community, whether it's mail or social media or your website, postcards, posters, right, whatever, print, ads in newspapers and online ads. So the spectrum is wide and there are a lot of options, but this was really great in hyper focusing on social media. So thank you again for all this time and investment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.